Dear first semester students, pharmacology 2. Today I would like to explain hypertension. Hypertension means increasing arterial blood pressure than normal is called hypertension. So usually the value is 120 by 80 mmHg. So based on this systolic and diastolic value, the person can be classified into normal tensive, pre-hypertensive, hypertensive grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So hypertension is a major risk factor for the cardiovascular disorder. Usually we will observe above the 50 years, which may lead to the myocardial infarction, stroke, peripheral vascular diseases. It can be classified into primary and secondary hypertension. Primary hypertension, also called essential hypertension, where we will observe there is no specific cause for the hypertension. Usually it will be happen due to the hereditary or maybe in excess intake of sodium ions or low intake of potassium ions or reduced vascular synthesis of nitric oxide. So usually nitric oxide will be synthesized in a specific amount. That amount will be reduced due to the age or any other reason. And next one is secondary hypertension, where we will observe a specific cause of the hypertension. So one of them is endocrine disorders like pheochromocytoma, hyperaldosteronism. In the pheochromocytoma, there is tumor in the adrenal gland takes place. This lead to the excess production of the adrenaline. In the same way, hyperaldosteronism, excess amount of the aldosterone will be synthesized due to any reason. One of the reason is pheochromocytoma. And kidney disorders also leads to hypertension and vascular disorders like renal artery stenosis. Here renal artery stenosis, it will be stiffened due to any reason. Due to this low blood supply to the kidney takes place, this will activate a renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. This lead to the hypertension. Drugs like oral contraceptive, steroids and erythropoietin, NSAIDs, monoamine oxidase, which also leads to the hypertension. NSAIDs will cause sodium retention in the body. This lead to the increasing blood volume and hypertension takes place. And next one is monoamine oxidase inhibitors. Monoamine oxidase are the group of drugs that inhibits the metabolism of monoamines like catecholamines, such as noradrenaline, adrenaline. Their availability increases. This lead to the hypertension. And next one is coming to the pathophysiology, can be explained by the two mechanisms like baroreceptor reflex mechanism and renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. Usually it will be maintained for a longer term of the blood pressure. Baroreceptor reflexes, usually they will maintain a short period of the hypertension, will be maintained constantly in our body. So here baroreceptors are present in the carotid sinus of the carotid artery as well as in the aorta, arc of aorta. These receptors, they always measure the BP. If the BP drops, they send the signal to the brain in the vasomotor center, where the signal will be recognized. So according to that, it will send the signals. If the BP drops, they send signals to the vertebral column. So it will activate the sympathetic system. So due to the sympathetic system, the adrenaline will be released. This lead to the increasing force of contraction and heart rate. This lead to increasing cardiac output. BP become normal. At the same time, it also releases noradrenaline. Noradrenaline causes constriction of blood vessels. This lead to the rise in BP. Now the signal will be stops. In this way, it will maintain a constant manner. So usually it will be observed when the person changes from the sitting position to standing position. So during these changes, blood will try to pool in lower extremities due to gravitational forces. So, but it does not happen due to the baroreflexes. Anyway, and coming to the other factors which influences the BP are atrial natriuretic peptide and endothelin, bradykinins, antidiuretic hormone, renal sodium retention. And coming to the pathophysiology of hypertension, in this renin-angiotensin aldosterone system, so it also maintains BP for a longer period. So example, if the blood volume reduces or blood pressure drops, in this case blood perfusion to the kidney reduces. This lead to the kidney release renin. This lead to the conversion of angiotensin to angiotensin 1. This gen is synthesized from the liver. Now angiotensin 1 is converted to angiotensin 2 by the enzyme angiotensin convertase enzyme, which is synthesized from the lungs. So now angiotensin 2 will do two things. It directly constricts the blood vessels by acting on angiotensin 1 and 2 receptors on the blood vessels. So this constriction leads to the rise in BP. And second thing is, it also stimulates the adrenal medulla. This lead to release aldosterone. Aldosterone will causes sodium and water retention by acting on kidneys. Now water level as well as sodium level in the blood increases, which leads to increasing blood volume. Now blood pressure become normal. But this chain will be altered at any point. This lead to the hypertension. Coming to the clinical manifestations, usually the hypertension is asymptomatic, a mild headache maybe observe, or neck pain also observe, but remaining maybe takes place in severe condition like myocardial infarction and as well as in a stroke condition. Coming to malignant hypertension, this is a severe form of the hypertension where we will observe damage to the vasculature. So if the BP increases, automatically the blood vessels will be broken, especially if it is happen in a particularly major organs like in eye as well as in kidney, that a damage of particular area takes place. Damage of optic fundus as well as papilloedema takes place. Papillo, this is the region where retina disc as well as in the retinal blood vessels will be come out from here. So here there is a disc-like shape normally present that will be depressed and swollen. That condition is called papilloedema. If the blood vessels are damaged in the kidney, there is a renal damage takes place that leads to proteinuria, hematuria, confusion takes place. If it is happen in a CNS, in brain, coma and death takes place. Coming to diagnosis, it can be diagnosed by the measuring BP, patient assessment, and as well as secondary cause of the hypertension, medication history, physical examination, sitting and standing, supine hypertension based on body mass index. Stenosis of the renal artery can be diagnosed by the British sounds in the abdomen, where we can observe here some British sound will be observed, and examination of the aortic fundus, cervical British examination by stethoscope, where we will observe vascular murmur sounds. And next one is laboratory tests, urinary analysis, serum estimation of sodium, potassium, uric acid, creatinine, glucose level estimation, cholesterol, lipoprotein levels, hemoglobin, hematocrit examination also gives some idea about the diagnosis. Coming to our important topic, that is drugs classification. Drugs are classified as centrally acting, drugs acting on postganglionic nerve, as well as the drugs acting on adrenergic receptors, and drugs acting on vascular smooth muscle, and drugs acting on renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. So centrally acting drugs are alpha-2 stimulants. These drugs are methyl-dopa, clonidine. So next one is autonomic ganglia, drugs acting on autonomic ganglia, trimethophan, and drugs acting on postganglionic nerve endings. These drugs are adrenergic neuron blockers like guanethidine, britaglium. Catecholamine depleter are reserpine, and drugs acting on adrenergic receptors are alpha blockers. So those drugs are pentolamine, phenoxybenzaimine, and prazosin. Beta blockers are all these LOLs, atenolol, metoprolol, all these LOLs, propranolol. And drugs both alpha and beta blockers are labetalol, alpha alpha beta beta lol, alpha beta lol are both lols. And next one is drugs acting on vascular smooth muscles. They are classified based on their affinity towards the arteries and veins. Arteriovasodilator dilators such as calcium channel blockers like nifedipine, diltiazem. Arteriovenular vasodilators are sodium nitroprusside. It will dilate both arteries and veins. It dilates only arteries. And potassium channel activators are digoxin, hydrogen. And other drugs are drugs acting on renin-aldosterone system or RAA system blockers. So these drugs are renin release inhibitors. Those are beta blockers. And angiotensin convertase enzyme inhibitors, enalapril, captopril, and diuretics. Diuretics like thiazide diuretics, loop diuretics, potassium sparing diuretics. So coming to first one, alpha-2 stimulants, methyl-dopa and clonidine. So these alpha-2 receptors are present in the vasomotor center. It will give negative feedback mechanism. So due to this reduced sympathetic outflow takes place. This lead to the prolonged hypotension. Prolonged hypotension. So reduced sympathetic activity also helpful in this case. So coming to pharmacokinetics are normal. Adverse drug reactions are dizziness, headache, hallucinations, drowsiness takes place. All these are due to the reduced blood supply to the brain, and orthostatic hypotension takes place. Gynecomastia and constipation, bradycardia, meiosis takes place. Meiosis means construction of pupil is called meiosis. Here we can see construction of pupil. Drug interactions. Here tricyclic antidepressant reduces the metabolism of these drugs and improves their action. Contraindication, they are contraindicated in severe renal failure, hepatic failure, Raynaud's syndrome, myocardial infarction. Because usually due to drop in blood pressure, the blood supply to the major organ reduces. So if the major organ failure happen like renal failure, hepatic failure, they are contraindicated. Myocardial infarction also, there is a damage of heart we are going to observe. If the blood supply to the heart reduces, this leads to the further progression of condition. That's why it is contraindicated. Mainly used in treatment of hypertension in pregnancy. It is also safe, especially clonidine is safe. And it also useful in treatment of growth retardation and glaucoma. Glaucoma is increasing intraocular pressure is called glaucoma. Due to stimulation of alpha 2, in the intraocular pressure will be dropped by reducing the aqueous humor formation. Thank you. Remaining I will explain in the part 2.